Hi, everybody. Um, I wanted to create this sort of a live tutorial for people to see how I've been using the URL API source to get information from websites like this one. Recently, people asked me to talk about um, how we can extract information from things like MLB.com, the baseball league, or NBA, and bring them into OBS. Let me just get my picture here up. All right. Yeah. So how to get that into OBS? So as you can see here, I got this from the MLB website. It's actually live and updating every 10 seconds. Every 1 second. Let's set it up every 10 seconds. And if I go, for example, if I want to go to the previous day, I can just go into here and say, now doing October 31st. All right, so there's that, and now it's getting the information from the other day, and you can really go to whatever day as long as you have the URL for it. It's going to extract that. Let's say this guy. Now we take a second, and now you see it reflects what's in here. It brings it into OBS, and you can do all kinds of things with it. Right, you can, for example, like set things in bold and that sort of stuff. Right, yeah. So it's all templated. Okay, so let's see how this is done. This is a new functionality that I added, which is the HTML CSS selector information extractor. And there's a lot of things going on in here, and I'll explain kind of how I did that. We can start from scratch and see how this is done. But basically, it allows you, instead of doing a JSON parsing XML, you can just look at the HTML of the page and extract the information you need and bring it up in your template to show it inside OBS in however way that you want. So let's see how this is done. Let's actually go ahead and delete this one and start from scratch. So we'll bring up a new URL source. We'll call it the MLB. And now we know we're working on this URL here from this one. We'll do that in a moment. We'll do that for the NBA. By default, you're getting the cat source here in OBS. And so let's go ahead and paste in the URL we have for MLB. Yeah, let's keep it at text for now and just test the request. This is just a good test for us to see that we're actually getting the output that we're expecting. So this is like 400 kilobyte sort of HTML bodying here. So my computer might be a little slow. So it's really big, right, for displaying. But we know that it's working now that it's on text. We know that it's working. So we'll have to go to HTML and figure out the CSS selector. And I'll show you my method for doing this. So I would go into the web page, and I know I want to pick up these, just the final results for this one. So I would use this tool I have here in Edge. Make this a little bigger. We'll use this tool here I have in Edge to figure out where the information that I want to get. So I'll do this one, and I see, okay, so this is a div. It has the 9. I'm interested in grabbing the 9, and I see that this div has a certain class, right? So I can go ahead and copy the class. Now, what I'm seeing is that there's a bunch of random stuff in here. If I refresh the page, these things are probably going to get a new ID. But looks like this beginning of this class in here is not random. It's something that will probably show up in other divs, but it will probably show up consistently if I refresh the page. So let's get this section. And one thing I like to do, instead of just going into OBS and trying to fetch that, I would try to see if the page itself has something like jQuery. And indeed it does, which is very convenient for us, because I can just go ahead and be like, all right, I want a div with a class that begins with this, right? Or rather, I would need the double quotes in here and the single quotes there. All right, so luckily we have jQuery, and I'm able to get all of the things of this class. And now I can see that it's picking up on the ones that I want, but it's also bringing in all of these guys, that are hidden. So that's going to be a problem. I can pick those up in OBS and try to figure out, go in like 26, 27, and so on. But we can probably just figure out what these guys are in terms of like some other elements. So we can kind of scroll up and see, all right, so all of these elements are part of this area here. So let's, instead of grabbing the table, let's see if we can grab one of the divs. And these guys seem like they're going to work out, like game info style, live score wrapper, or something like that, or scoreline wrapper, info wrapper. All of these things, it seems like they're all just one div after another, just in succession like this. So why don't we just grab this one, right, and go back to console. And now we can say that ahead of this div, we want to find something with a class that equals this, and then we want to find inside it all of the other divs. So let's run this, and this is looking much better now. You see, we're only grabbing the ones that we're interested in. All right, so this is pretty cool, and we can bring this into OBS as is. Let's just copy out this and bring it into OBS in the CSS selector. That's pretty much it. Now let's run the request and see, we're getting in our output array in here, we're getting our scores, like the 9, 16, 0, 1, 4. And from here, I mean, we can save, we can start templating and be like output 0, output 1, output 2, and then we'll need a line break. And then we'll do 3, 4, and 5, which is cool, because now it's reflecting what we have here in the scoreboard, right? 9, 16, 0, 1, 4, 0. That's pretty neat. But we're not done, right? We also want to get the names of the teams that are playing. And so for that, we'll have to do a little bit more CSS selector trickery. So let's figure out these elements here. All right, this one, I have team wrapper style desktop. All right, so let's grab this one and go console and do the same sort of deal. Let's write jQuery and go like div class partial this one. All right, so we got 4, which might be annoying. These ones are probably the ones that are hidden, and then we have these ones. So we can do the same trick and try to figure out how do we find just these guys, right? Because there might be other ones in other places, right, that get the same thing. So I mean, I can try to see if we only look for team style name wrapper, right? Team style data wrapper. Let's see if that's gonna pan out. Yeah, so it will be like div class partial this and that. Now we're still getting 4, but that's actually not that bad. We can work with this. So we can grab this and go back to OBS. And now, instead of picking up just the scores, I also want to pick up this div, pasting it in, and I'll add a comma. A comma will say that it's grabbing all of these guys, the team names, and all of the scores in succession, right? So let's test this out. Then you'll notice that now we have the names and then the scores. All right, so that's pretty good. Let's save this out. And now in our template, it's going to be a little weird like that because we want to get 0, but then we actually want to get, so it'd be 0, 1, 2, 3, and we'll start with 4, 5, 4, 5, and 6. And line break. And then we'll get 1, and then we'll continue from 7, 8, 9. And there we go. We have the names of the teams and the scores in here. You can OK this. Now you'll see it's popping up in OBS. We can even, let's say, for example, give this a black background so that it's visible. And now you all should see this on on the screen share. Right, so we got this one working. And you can add any sort of styling and colors and whatever you need to make this work for you. All right, so let's do NBA. I have not seen this. The first time that I'll be doing this, but let's try it out nevertheless. Let's just make this one go once every 10 seconds. And also just move it back so that we are not, it doesn't interfere. All right, so I have not seen this, but let's try to do this. Let's try to get this game and show it in OBS. All right, so let's get a new URL source. We'll call this NBA. And we'll grab this URL here, games. We'll put this in here and just go for a text and test the request just to see that we have some response. Looks like we're good. And now let's just do the same method. Clear this out. Let's try to grab this one here. All right, matchup scorecard P, game card matchup card, and then some ID here, which is fine. All right, I'm seeing like a couple things in here, so let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if I grab this, and let's see if we have jQuery. We don't have jQuery. Let's see if we have the dollar. The dollar. That's interesting. Maybe the dollar is jQuery, or maybe not. This was a P. The class partially was this. Right. This is actually working out pretty well. The problem is that we're not getting the other one. We're not getting the other one, which is not that bad because we can find it. Be like, okay, what's up with this guy? Yeah, so we got that guy. Now class partial. It's only going to give us one of them. Yeah. Let's bring this in OBS and see what we can find in here. So let's go in HTML, CSS selector like that, and test the request. Right, so this one is not working out for us very well here in OBS. It might be a problem that we have with finding. Now let's try this div instead. Let's try this div instead. Now we're not seeing much. I'm not seeing much in here. Right, this might call for some specialized way for us to grab things. Div class. Right. Have a section. We're interested in this one. Matchup score B. Let's try this method. A B with a class like that. It's not picking up on those. Not picking up on those. Let's see if XPath will have any sort of response. Now we can find XPath. If HTML doesn't work, then we can probably use XPath to extract things, but this seems strange that we can't get it. I mean, if we just do all of the P's, then they work fine. I'm getting one with a specific class. Doesn't work very well. Let's see. This is a class. If I refresh this, I'm still going to get a pretty stable class here for the P. It's possible that these things are being loaded after the page has loaded, and they're dynamically loaded in. It is indeed possible. See, they load after a little bit, which is a problem, because once OBS loads the page, there's no way for it to get it to wait or anything like that. It's just going to be based on this. So let's see if we can, for example, see if we can grab it from here. Right, so if we take this one, let's see that we just get a response in here. Looks like we do. And let's just go and find one here again. So the MLB page loads it up ahead of time, but the NBA page does not. It loads it up dynamically. So there's probably a way. See, they're loaded dynamically after the fact. So we might want to look for a different thing, to look for a different page where these things are loaded immediately. So let's see if there's anything here that is stays home. Let's see if, for example, these things are loading up ahead of time. Seems like they are kind of static, but one can never know. Relax. Let's try this one. This would be an A. This would be an A thing, like that. All right. This one we actually can see. All right, so we're getting some stats about different players. Right, so Leonard, 38. We can then save this and go ahead and format that in. There, so we can do this. Now we have something like that. Or you can probably keep going. 4, 5. There's LeBron. Okay. So we can set this up. And there you have it. We have this list. We have this list in here reflected in our OBS, and that's going to be updating every time you load this in. This thing looks like it's loading. Let's say we want the season leaders. This thing looks like that's not a different URL. So it looks like it's being loaded dynamically and just sort of changed right on top of this. Right. One, but in here. Yep. This thing is loaded dynamically. so we would need to find like a stable URL um, to find how we can load static information. But this is just the NBA website. There's plenty of other websites and HTML based stats that you can that you can grab, and probably even here there's a way there's a way to find it. Yeah, you can just as easily just look for the right kind of class and the right sort of element. Grab that into OBS, into your URL source, and go like that. See, now we're getting the teams, the team card, right? And then we would want, this would be the team card, and then we would want these guys, right? Like 155, we want to do that. I copy that in, right, just to see how this works. Right, that might be different. I don't think this is an A. I think this is a TD. All right, so we got output 0. That's 38. I actually don't know where this is coming from. Leaderboard. Card value. Try it. Try this. Yeah, I think it's grabbing the information from above, and not this one in particular. We would need to say that we want a team, a leaderboard, a TR like this, and within it we have the TD. So it'll be a TR with a partial class like that, and within it we have the TD. And that obviously doesn't work. TR. Now we're getting them. So you can save that. Now we're getting the 155, which has to do with Boston Celtics, because we're only displaying one of them in the template. We can do output 1, output 2, and now we're getting this this sort of table in here. And obviously we can also grab underneath the TR, we can grab like the name, the score, the name, the score, the name, the score, and we're going to all get them in here and be able to template them. All right. Thanks everybody for watching, and let me know if you run into any problems, and I can try to assist you. This is a new feature out of the URL API source, and so check that out and give me some feedback. Bye.